when I had my first car, I used to wash it every weekend. I would go there with a bucket and wash it really good. Right now, I cannot remember when was the last time I washed a car. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time. So when you decide to be a successful entrepreneur, you don't have easy days. They're hard, at least at the beginning. I love this land. It's giving me a wife. My way of living is here in the US now. The next step for me is just prove to myself that I can do it. I don't have anybody to prove it to. I just want to do it.
What's going on, everybody? So on today's show, we have none other than Ismael Martinez from Panda Pest Control and other things. What's up, Ismael?
How are you doing?
I'm glad you're here, bro.
I'm glad to be here. It's been a long time coming, huh?
It's been a long time. We've been chatting and off and on with our schedules and stuff like that, and finally made it happen.
It happens.
The next thing we got to do is get you on Instagram.
I know. Instagram is a big distraction tool for me, though. So it's served me well to stay out of it.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was on LinkedIn for probably 5, 6, 7 years before I ever went on Instagram. I went on Instagram last year for the first time.
Okay.
And so, but I think there's a bigger reach.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, there's a bigger reach. Obviously, LinkedIn is more B2B, business to business, more strategic. You can get to the person really quick. Like you can look up project managers, and that's all they show. You know what I mean? Project managers, Phoenix, Arizona. That's all it shows. You go on Instagram, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to look. No one puts their titles and all that. That's the only thing that's the downside. So it's more, but for you, it's B2C. From you're going to
consumers, yeah.
Consumer.
100%.
Yeah.
We have a very small, the business we've done, commercial, it's very small. Probably at the most might be like 10% of the business we do.
Yeah.
So it's mostly residential.
Yeah.
So yeah. And we've used, I've been a big Instagram user. I'm one of those early adopters of Instagram.
Yeah.
I used it for like 10 years. I built a pretty good following. I was pretty active with it. And about two years ago, honestly, social media was consuming a lot of my time, my attention. My focus was all over the place. And, you know, I'm deep inside, I'm a prideful guy, and Instagram is a good tool to feed your ego. And
Totally.
It really, for a period of time, it was pretty detrimental to me. So
hey, yeah, it's. I mean, I think we're all prideful. You know,
Yeah.
we're all working on that. But like you said, is the ego thing with Instagram is it can, for some, it boosts them up where they think they're bigger than they are. For others, it crushes them because they're like, I'm not there. I don't look like that. That he has a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and a jet, and I just have like Ford Mustang 1986 or whatever. You know what I mean? So it can damage the ego or build up a false ego. You know what I mean? The same way I took a little break off Instagram. It's probably been like 4, 5, 6 weeks. And just because I noticed I started looking at it more, you know, and I'm scrolling a little more. And the last thing I want to do is get stuck scrolling, looking at people, you know, consuming something that isn't like beneficial to my mind, my body, my soul. You know what I mean?
yeah, and it's like I said, I've been a part of it. Both of our businesses, our thriving businesses, they run on Instagram. A lot of them, like we use a lot of Instagram, a lot of social media.
What's the other one?
So the first business that I started was our cleaning business, Zebra Cleaning.
Yeah.
Which I dare to say over 50% of it we built it on Instagram alone.
Nice.
We did really well on Instagram. Just a variety of different approaches with it, and then from that business that was a residential cleaning company, Zebra Home Cleaning, and then we started a commercial cleaning company, Orca Cleaning. And then after that we branched out to do carpet cleaning, window cleaning, pressure washing, essentially everything cleaning. And then about 2.5 years ago I started my pest control company.
Yeah.
And pest control is my background. I've been doing pest control for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm probably the most competent on.
Yeah.
Most of the time doing sales, though. I spent 10 years doing door-to-door sales for a big pest control company.
Yeah. So why did you go into cleaning first rather than pest control first? Was it because you had a partner or something, or?
So the company I worked with for a long time, they had a pretty nasty non-compete that kept me from going back to pest control.
Oh yeah.
So what I did is I really wanted to start my own business, and I kind of got my feet wet starting a cleaning company low barrier of entry, very low cost to get it started.
Yeah.
I did some research and the competition is pretty weak. So we were able to scale pretty fast, get some pretty good reputation very quickly because I have a sales background. And the very day that my non-compete was up, the next day I applied to get my pest control license. And a week later, I had my pest control company.
Yeah.
Like literally, I was just waiting for the time to expire.
Yeah. And so for people watching, starting a pest control company, you can't just start one.
No.
You have to have so many hours, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of hoops, and you're putting me on the spot if you ask me exactly what are the requirements. I kind of
But there's some requirements.
Yeah,
it's not like the cleaning thing.
So home cleaning, you go to Home Depot and grab yourself a bucket, a mop, and a vacuum, and you're good to go, right?
You got a business.
With pest control, you can't just be operating a pest control company without a license.
Yep.
And to get a license, there's a couple hoops that you have to jump
Yeah,
through.
you have to have so many hours, I believe. I looked at it. I was like, maybe I'll start one, but there's so many hours.
2 years.
Yeah.
It's not hours, just 2 years. You have to have 2 years of like working under somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So we figured it out. We got our license. It is a higher cost because you have to get more equipment, a little bit more specialized equipment. It's not a lot, but it's more specialized equipment.
It's more than a mop and a broom?
100%. Yeah. And you can't just buy it at Home Depot, right? Any Walmart. There was times where we needed rags in the middle of the night, and I'm like, okay, I'll run to Walmart and buy a bag of rags. For pest control, there's a couple suppliers that sell the pesticide in Phoenix, so you have to go through them to get good pricing and good products. So it's just not as easy. So I would say if anybody listening is thinking about opening a pest control company just on a flight, it's just not that easy.
Yeah, you can't do
there's
it.
a little bit more to it.
Yeah, you literally have to go work.
Correct.
You got to go work in the system, kind of like I think it's at Chick-fil-A.
You have to be like a manager to be able
Chick-fil-A
to become...
to be a franchise,
Correct.
An owner, you have to have worked there for like 2 or 3 years.
Correct.
Same thing.
Which I think it's a great thing, right? I when you are going through the process of getting licensing and jumping through all these hoops in pest control, it is pretty tedious. It is annoying. It is frustrating. Just like every government agency, the Department of Agriculture moves a little bit slower.
Yeah.
When I started my business, that was like right at the tail end of COVID. They were understaffed. We have a lot of pest control companies in Arizona. So the small team that they have at the Department of Ag, they had their their plate full. So it was difficult. But once we go past all these hurdles, it gives you some assurance that not any bozo off the street is going to become your competition.
Yeah.
Right. So it allows that, it's a little bit more fair competition. The people that are out there with their license, that they went through the same hoops. They had to be licensed. They have to have that experience. So it creates a better competitive environment, which I think is great for the consumers too. So
in the contracting world, which I'm in, it's similar, except it's easy to lie. Like, so when you go get a contractor license at the register of contractors, whatever state it is, however that looks, most of them ask the same thing. Do you have experience? Can you prove it? Right. And so like half these builders out there have no clue what they're doing. You know what I mean? They were like, that guy's making money. I'm gonna go start a construction company. It's easy. Right. And they go and lie on their stuff and they get a license. It's like super easy for them to lie. Right. No experience. They're builders. They're out there screwing up people's homes and buildings, and you hear all the stories all the time.
Yeah.
They're stealing people's money, all this stuff, right? So I think if there was, I almost think almost in any industry is, like you said, like the barrier of entry, there needs to be a barrier. And that way it could distinguish who's who. So you don't have frauds out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I like how, so pest control has these levels. And if I remember correctly, you have to be a certified applicator, in other words, be a technician before you can have a license for a business, right? Which I like it because it forces you to have to go and get some training. And the Department of Ag keeps track of your license. So if your license as a technician has been active for 2 years, they give you the thumbs up.
Yeah, they know.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, it is tedious in the moment. It's a headache. It's difficult to navigate. Their websites are outdated. Their forms of payment are difficult, they're complicated. It's a government agency, right? But once you make it through it, it is so nice. And it gives you that assurance that it's a little bit more fair competition, which Phoenix it's incredibly competitive in the pest control space. Mm-hmm. It is. There is a handful of very big companies, and then there is hundreds. It's actually like 12 to 1,300 like small companies.
Yeah.
So it's a bloodbath out there just fighting over the customers.
I think it's like that in a lot of industries, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phoenix is, I think for all home services, it's.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition.
Because when I was doing sales for this pest control company, I've traveled all over the country. I've done sales in Kansas, in Missouri, in Texas, in Denver, in Idaho, in Washington, Utah, and nothing compares to how competitive Phoenix is.
Yeah. Well, especially with the pests, because we get those heats and.
Yeah, and the pests here in Arizona are resilient. They're difficult.
Yeah.
So but it's a good industry. I mean, that's what I love about blue collar industries, service industries, monthly recurring revenue industries that we never run out of work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so, you're in the pest control industry now. How did you get into that? Did you, were you growing up, like, was there a family member that was doing it? Did you go to college and take project management and get into some sort of business management school? How did you growing up, how did that look? Where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
You're born in Mexico?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay, so there was no pest control services in Mexico?
No, sir. None of that.
Does that even exist?
It's a shoe. That's the pest control out there. A little chocolate. No, so to give you a quick rundown. So born and raised in Mexico. I'm from the state of Chihuahua, right on the north border. Mm-hmm. I live, if you see the borderline between the state of Texas and New Mexico, when they come together, you drive 3 hours south. That's where I grew up. So modest home. Both of my parents are teachers. My mom is a college professor. My dad worked in special ed.
Oh, you had a good home.
Excuse me?
You're a privileged white kid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, really good. So, pretty modest. We had everything we needed, nothing above that, but it was just, we had a great living. Both sides of my family, they work for the men, right? So they teachers, but probably 95% of my family, both sides, they work for the education.
Oh, well, that's cool though.
Yeah, so they all had good salaries. They all had a good living, but it did dim the light of entrepreneurship and of ambition for me and like my cousins, right? Like only me and another cousin are entrepreneurs. When I was about 17, 18 years old, I joined the Mormon church.
In Mexico.
In Mexico.
Okay.
And then I submitted my documents to do some church service, to be a service missionary for them. And my assignment was to be a missionary in New York City. So they sent me from Chihuahua, Mexico to New York City.
Let me ask you something. So you're 17, 18, and you go and join the church, LDS.
Yes.
Your parents, they weren't part of the church?
Not at the time.
So like what made you, I'm curious now, what at that age, what made you join the church?
My friends.
Your friends were already LDS. They're like, come to church.
I had a girlfriend that would take me to church, and she's like, hey, if we want to get together during the week, to come to church with me on Sundays. So I was like, yeah, sure, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
So at that time, that was a big part of my social circle. Like all of my friends, we were playing basketball at the church building.
That's a good group of friends. I mean, all in church.
My parents were all about it. Yeah. You hear these stories where families disown kids for changing religions. My parents were all about it. They were like, hey, you want to go with the kids at church? Go for it. Do whatever you want.
You're staying out of trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
I still managed to get in trouble, though, but it helped a little bit. But, I was playing basketball with the guys at church. I was, at that time, all of my friends were leaving to be missionaries. So it was really cool for me to see my circle of friends getting sent to different parts of the country and of the world to be missionaries. So I started getting a little FOMO. And I said, well, I'll do it too. So I applied to be a missionary. And the church has this system to where you don't know what you're going to get sent. You just apply and you say, I'm willing to go and serve for 2 years. Let me know where you need me. And they just send you a letter telling you where you're going. And it's non-negotiable. You don't dispute it. You don't go back and say, hey, well, I really don't like that place. Too cold for me.
So you're saying
you take it or leave it.
You didn't, when they were going to send you to New York, you're like, nah, I don't want to go to New York.
Yeah, you can't do that. And it's crazy because the state where I'm from, Chihuahua, is at the very north border. The next state over, there's a city, ugliest city you can think of. Desert, flat land, there's nothing. And some of my friends got called to be missionaries there. And then some people like me got called to be in New York. So it's a fun experience, right? You're kind of spinning the wheel and see where they send you.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a big blessing for me. I came from a small little town in Mexico to... We can debate that New York is the most important, the most iconic city in the world. So
it might be.
Yeah. And of course, somebody will dispute it, but it really is. It's a melting pot. I got to meet people from countries I didn't even know existed. I came from this tiny little town where all I knew was just people just like me. They spoke like me, they ate like me, they looked like me. To if you've been in New York City, every 2 blocks is like you're in a different country. I met people from every South American country, from every European country, from every African country. I met and created friendships with Russians, Romanians, Africans, Chinese people, Filipino. I mean, you name it. Really, I don't think there is a culture or a country you can mention that I don't know somebody from there.
So you get sent to New York. The LDS Church is like, hey, you got to do a 2-year mission.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm right, correct me if I'm right. Does every young man have to do the mission, or every kid?
You don't have to, but everybody has the option and the opportunity to do it.
Okay.
You can decline and say, I don't. That's not for me.
Do the parents have to pay? I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Like for people that so your parents had to like commit to it as well. It's a commitment for the parent and the kid.
Yeah. Which a lot of them, when you're preparing, right, when you're a young kid, if you grow up in the LDS Church, you know that's coming up. So when they're young, they start saving up. So you see kids like right now in my church congregation, you have kids on the weekends mowing lawns and putting $10 on a piggy bank since they're like 10 years old. So by the time their mission rolls in, when they're 18, they just pull out the cash and they're ready to go.
What's crazy is that's an entrepreneurial spirit too. That breeds an entrepreneurial spirit because in the kid's mind is like you said, they're like 10 years old, they're mowing lawns, they're doing this, that. They're literally becoming an entrepreneur because of the goal to go on a mission.
Yep. And self-sufficient and most parents encourage. I think you'll have some wealthy parents that will pay for it, but it's part of the cultural piece of the mission is to encourage kids to pay for it. Yeah. Now, I did not grow up LDS, so we didn't have a whole lot of money, and I did not have saved up for it.
You didn't have 7 years of savings.
No, I didn't have any of that. So then most congregations have a little savings there for missionaries that don't have the money. And then we're always encouraged to donate after our missionary service to kind of pay back for that. So kind of pay it forward. So I was lucky that between my parents' funding, my local church members, everybody contributed for me to be able to. And it's not like the church needs it, but it's just a good system to have every missionary self-finance.
I think so.
Yeah. So anyways, like I said, it was just game changer for me. It just opened my eyes. Once again, if I take you to my hometown, there's no match to it. And then I showed up to New York City. I have a fun experience. I show up and I've been there for, I don't know, a couple weeks. And my first assigned area was in Long Island, which is not really New York City. It's a little bit further out, about an hour and a half out. And all of a sudden I look up and I see this giant building. And I am just blown away. I've never seen a building that tall.
Yeah.
So the guy that I was assigned to be companions with, I handed my, back in the day, I had my nice digital camera. And I'm like, hey, to take a picture of me to send to my family. So I step in front of the building and he's just confused looking at me like, what do you want a picture of? And it was a 5-story building. And to me, that was just...
You were like, that's huge.
I'm like, dude, my family is not going to believe
Then you went to Manhattan
and then they were like, wait until we go to Manhattan when you see a 100-story building, right? So it really was a big cultural and it just opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I was just not used to that. I've never ridden a train. I drove through the Hamptons, these beautiful big mansions. But I also saw some other things that most people don't realize. Like I lived in New York City, the most important city of the world, and I saw real poverty.
Yeah.
I was serving among people that they were barely making it day by day.
Yeah.
I saw true poverty, like 20 people living in one bedroom apartment.
What's crazy is like you're telling me the stories and I'm going back in time and when I was younger. I was born and raised here, right? And we grew up poor, stuff like that. Like, yeah, we kind of sucked. And I remember, I grew up in a little city here called Maryville. And at the time it was really gang infested and stuff. There was a lot of gangs here. And I tell a story sometimes. We were so like impoverished as a community, and this can be anywhere. Like not only in Mexico, for people who are listening, like this is right here. Like you're talking about New York, and we would stay in a little pocket, right? Maybe 4 square miles or something, right? And I remember one of the first times that we went out, and we went and took a drive to North Phoenix, and this is like seriously, like because you're telling me the story of the big building,
yeah.
And I'm living off of between Thomas and Indian School, which you know where that's at,
yeah.
That's a nice spot. We drive like 5 miles to like Northern or 4 miles. and that was the north side. That was us getting outside of our element, where we're like, oh wow, it's different over here. Like when you're telling me the story, I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy, because we all like what you went through, I went through, but in different parts of, you know what I mean?
So, it's so interesting, because it just shows how similar we all are. Like, and I experienced these, I've, going back to like my mission, I have some friends that are very wealthy. They have a lot of money, and they grew up with a lot of money, and they were called to be missionaries in like some countries of South America with a lot of poverty. And they come back and they say, dude, I didn't realize how poor I am. Like, these people, they had everything. They had nothing, but at the same time, they had everything. They were happy. They were fulfilled. Their families were together. And here we have all these luxuries and we feel so empty.
Yeah, we hate each other. We're fighting.
It's so interesting, because you just, we're all so similar. And we all lack so much, and we all have so much, and depends on what lens you're using. We can spot, the scarcity of some things we have, and then the abundance of other things we have in our lives, whether we're rich or poor, or workers or entrepreneurs or travelers. So we like to stay within our, like, there's just, we have so much commonality with every single person we meet.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter, like you said, if we're wealthy or poor, like it's the wealthy people, super wealthy people get depressed.
Correct.
They go through bad relationships and bad marriages and, whatever it is. Right. But so going back to New York, so you're over there, you notice these poor areas, like what was going through your mind? Cause you came from a poor area.
And I came from you can call it poor area, which again,
Mexico as a country though is poor.
Some areas.
Although
Mexico is just like,
I never been there, to tell you the truth. So I don't know.
There are some neighborhoods in Mexico that will put Paradise Valley to shame.
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah. So it all depends, right? But the environment that I grew up, pretty middle class.
Yeah.
I dabble in both, like kind of some areas of my life were a little bit more on the lower end. But then my parents did everything they could to put us in good schools and to do some after school programs, to go do basketball at a nice gym. So we experienced both. But I was shocked to go to New York City, and literally 20 minutes from Wall Street, there is like poverty. There's people that they're just eating rice, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. What year was this?
So I was there between December 2008 to December 2010.
Okay.
2008 to 2010. So to circle that back to pest control, so I finished my missionary service. I went back to Mexico, and about 3 weeks later, I came back to the U.S. I actually went to school down in southern Arizona, in Thatcher, at Eastern Arizona College. So it was 2-year college. I just started my schooling there, got a student visa to come up here. And as soon as I got there...
We did work on that school.
You really?
Is that in Apache res? Thatcher? Where's Thatcher?
Thatcher is going towards Safford, like down by the mines.
I know we worked there. We did two of the schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's small, like 2-year college.
Yeah.
I got my generals done. And my first job in the U.S. was picking up trash, and I loved it. I was getting paid $6.25 an hour, and I loved it. That was a lot of money for me because I didn't have very much.
Well, let me ask you something. So you went to school in Mexico, high school, right? Mm-hmm. Your parents are teachers, so they understand. Like, they seen bad kids and good kids, and they're like, they kind of got a feel of how to raise you. How many siblings do you have?
One sister.
So the two of you. So you graduate high school in Mexico, mm-hmm. and you come from a Mexican, an education from Mexico. Mm-hmm. You come straight to college. You said it was
Eastern Arizona College.
Yeah, and you come right in, and you, like, was that a hard transition? Because you hear, that's what I'm saying. I'm listening to you tell me, and so many people make excuses because of where they're from or whatever. But like, you're literally transitioned, like proper. You know what I mean? Like, so you had the same type of education as an American. Is that because of your parents, or because the city is closer to America? I'm just asking. I don't know.
No, I think so. I think the school education in Mexico is a little bit more rigorous than here.
Okay.
Here, and now you take
it's getting pretty bad here. I don't even know if you call it an education. Take this from a guy that has
2 college degrees, right?
Okay.
With a family that believes in education.
Yeah, totally.
The biggest mistake, I don't know if I'll call it a mistake, but one of the biggest setbacks that I had in the last couple decades was going to school. That really set me back. Going to school set you back? Yeah, so college. Okay. College really was, it really did set me back. I could have done some. I mean, I would be in a much better place if I would have just gotten started.
Yeah.
And I think in Mexico, schools are not as good of a business as it is here. So they're very objective. Learn the stuff and get out of here. Learn the stuff and get out of here.
Okay.
Learn the stuff and get out of here, right? A lot of it is free education out there up to college. Here, everything is a business, right? Everything costs money. So you have to take all these nonsense, unnecessary credits, classes that nobody really cares for.
Yeah.
The teacher doesn't care for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had at Eastern Arizona College, I had teachers that were part-time teachers there that were farmers. Like they never taken a lesson on how to become teachers, and they just, we need somebody to teach this class. Okay, that farmer has 2 hours in the evenings, haven't teach the class. Right. So and when you think about it, when you dissect it that way, it doesn't matter how you position these people. I mean, a guy like me that can sit still, I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
So there are some degrees in some fields where education is very important. I think in the world of business, formal education really is a hurdle. It keeps you from actually learning and growing.
Yeah, I think if you got an entrepreneurial bug, like you're absolutely right. Now, if you're gonna go become a doctor or a lawyer, you need the education.
Yes,
but then we're talking about a whole different school and everything else.
100%. Right? So I came to school here, and fun experience for me. Socially, it was awesome. I was meeting friends. I was dating.
Well, you're in the middle of nowhere in Thatcher.
Yeah, and it's go Gila Monsters. That I love Thatcher. It was a great time. I love that it was, this tiny little town. You got to look it up.
I knew we did the work there. I'm trying to remember because I did 2 of the Eastern Arizona colleges. There's 2 of them.
Well, they have a couple campuses.
Yeah. I did 2 of them, and I know one was in Thatcher.
I love that, and I like to be in the center of all the good stuff. So I got involved with the student body, and I was just very involved there with the students and in school. So I had a great time. In my first semester, a good friend of mine came up and offered me to come work with him doing pest control, door-to-door sales for a pest control company. And that was really how I got started in pest control. Like in the summertime when we didn't have school, we would go up to Texas, and they gave us a little clipboard with a bunch of paper contracts. We didn't even have like digital contracts. And we would go and knock some doors and market pest control services. Yeah,
I was right. You passed the Apache reservation in San Carlos.
Yeah, you go past San Carlos, 100%. Yeah, the
Apache reservation.
Yep.
Yeah. So you got in. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I like it was stuck in my mind. I'm like, I know. So you got into pest control from a friend. A friend of mine that had been doing it, selling door to door, making commission only. And he's LDS as well. Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy is, I noticed like the LDS team. I'll call you guys a team, are really, really good at sales because of the missions. I really think like maybe everybody should do something like that. If not 2 years, maybe 1 year, 6 months, something. Well, think about it, right? Just to put it in perspective, in your life as an entrepreneur, right? How many years have you been in business? Over 15. 15, right? How many no's have you gotten? In 15, how many no's? Oh my gosh. Right? A lot. Okay. Way more no's. We got... Let's just say 95% no's. Yeah. So think about if you quantify it, right? Let's use a simple number. You got 1,000 no's in 15 years. We got those within 2 years before we even entered the professional world. Yeah. Because all day you're used to it. Yeah. You learn that rebuttal, that response. They tell you, no, that's just another day. And I remember the first couple weeks, the first couple months are very rough. You're this young kid that your parents have been sheltering you your whole life. All of a sudden, they send you to a different country to talk about religion all day, which a lot of us, and I won't speak for everybody, but at least for me, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I was new to the church. Like I like the principles of the church, but I couldn't tell you I'm like passionate and I love it and I just die for it. So I was still trying to figure it out myself. And in the meantime, they're like, all right, go teach that to other people. Go enhance people's lives with this message. Did you know English at the time? Very little. So most of the English, I learned it there. Yeah, so imagine that. You're broken English, very little English, new religion, new city. Holy guacamole. Yeah. And then you're in New York where they're kind of rude. They're like, quick. They're quick. Like, yeah, it's yes or no, let's move on. Right. So that's why you grab any missionary in New York City will just spank just about any good sales rep. You grab any T-Mobile, any Verizon sales rep, they get destroyed by any 18-year-old missionary in New York City. Yeah, I believe it. They got way more practice than them. Yeah. And so I got very lucky because I got thrown in the fire. I was, quote unquote, new in the church. So a lot of these principles were still new to me. Hold on. Hey, Hold on. I'm just thinking about the girl that you liked. Where did she end up?
She's just.
Did she go on a missionary too?
No. She just kind of.
So you were gone, and she was like,
and
"Bye."
She just, see ya. Yeah, I came back and she was not there anymore.
Oh God.
She served the purpose. We'll forever be grateful for her.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I got thrown in the fire. I didn't speak the language. It was not my city. Sharing a message that was also new to me, and then just a skill that I remember the very first day. My companion was this Tongan guy, just super tall guy from Tonga.
Oh wow.
Elder Folau Kavenga. And it took me 3 weeks to be able to say his name. I couldn't even say Kavenga, right? So, which I love him, it made a big impact. But I remember the first day he took me out to start talking to people. We went to this train station in Freeport, New York, and he said, "All right, go talk to them." Well, what do I say? He's like, just tell them. And I remember approaching this lady, and I just froze. I didn't know what to say. And it was like that for the first couple months. Like I didn't know what to say in English. I didn't know what to say at all. I was so embarrassed. It was so cold. It was in the middle of the winter. But then very quickly, after you get so many no's in a couple months, you get good at it.
Yeah.
So my last 6 months being a missionary, I was on fire. I could talk to anybody. I can just go, and if I get rejected, it wouldn't even faze me at all. Like I would just go turn around and go to the next one. So you just get so good with rejection. And
you're literally telling them about the LDS religion, the beliefs. Like, so it's like a recruiting, or like what?
If you want to call it recruiting.
Yeah, right?
But essentially what we're doing is we're sharing a message that we believe. Our belief is it will make their families better.
Yeah.
Make their life better.
Okay.
And there's a process just like everything, We go and talk about God, and then we talk about the plan that God has for each one of their children.
The Book of
how
Mormon.
The church will enhance that. We introduce the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
So it's this process, but really at the root of it, we are just cold contacting all day, every day. And in New York City, you have to, and not to take credit of any other location in the world, but you really have to be quick. People don't have time for you.
No, I've been there 5 times. It's very fast paced.
People wake up upset and they go to sleep upset. They're just stressed out. They are short with you. It's a rough place.
It's their culture. Yeah, the culture is like that.
And that's how it moves. New York City moves fast. So, I mean, I had a world-class training before I even considered business.
That is such a blessing. And the fact that you're doing something with it and you've done something with it, like that's like God's favor. Like the talents. Well, I'm a Christian. I don't know if this is in the Book of Mormon, but it talks about the 3 guys.
Yeah.
The parables. Talents, yeah. And it's that's like you're one of them, right? I'm one of them, right? Like God gave you this thing, and you're like, okay, I got it. I'm gonna go use this.
Yeah, and it served me so well. Just yesterday, I walk into this house, and doing one of our pest control services. The guy, I just noticed this big tattoo of the Yankees. I know the Yankee Stadium. I know just about anything I need to have a conversation with a New Yorker.
Yeah.
The guy, right before I walked in, he was like thinking about, we switched him from his provider to ours. And he was like getting cold feet. Like, I don't know if I want to use this guy. He was going to pay a little bit more with us. The second I started talking about New York, the guy was just in love with me. Come on over anytime you want. So it's been a blessing. He keeps blessing me every single day.
Yeah. So in sales, one of the things you're saying is in sales is if you can find commonality with the customer,
100%.
You lock them in, right?
In sales and in anything in life.
Right. Friendships, relationships, marriage, spouse, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Man and woman.
Yeah. I mean, we humans, we like people that are like us. If you're too different than me, we don't like you.
Yeah.
Right? So the more you can side with them and find, and we all have things in common. We just have to find them and be quick with them and be able to relate. So that was a huge blessing for me, coming out of my mission, and then my friend offering me that job. So I had spent already 2 years.
So the pest control, where was it at? The first job?
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I spent 2 years getting rejected every day, working hard. And no pay, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And just getting doors slammed on my face for 2 years. And then I come home. I stay home at school for about 4 months. And then 2011, I go out to Austin, Texas to knock doors for pest control.
So was your friend was LDS?
Mm-hmm.
Was he from your city too?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, hey, come over here. And
and it was just a bunch of these guys from Mexico. We were all going to college in the U.S. We kind of get together, right? Once we find each other.
So did you get like a work visa or?
So when you're a student, they allow you to work.
Okay.
Yeah. You
Cool.
can get a work permit. So
Okay.
I had a student visa with a work permit.
Nice.
So I went out there, I was working, and it really changed my life. It truly changed my life. It was the hardest job I've ever done, getting doors slammed on my face all day long. Back then, the training wasn't the best. My friend took me with him. We went on this street and we knocked a couple doors. The guy sold a couple accounts, made it look really easy because he had a bunch of experience.
Yeah.
And he said, all right, do you go that way? I'll go this way. I'll see you at 9 p.m. And it was 10 a.m. I was like, all right. No food, no water. Back then I had a flip phone. I didn't have a GPS, like just nothing. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And when I came out to work with him, he said, hey, if you work really hard, you can probably make between $4,000 and $5,000 this summer, which I would do the math in Mexican pesos. And I was like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I ended up making like $22,000. I was just
In American money or
in American money.
Oh, so you were
So it
like-
was a lot. I mean, I was balling.
Yeah.
And I was broke college student in Thatcher, Arizona, which cost nearly nothing to live there. So I was, the richest man in town. I loved it.
You're richer than a farmer that was a teacher.
Probably. I don't know about that. But $22,000 in a summertime period
For a young
college
man,
student
you've never had
coming
it before.
from Mexico.
Yeah.
I was just blown away.
Nice.
And I was hooked. I haven't been able to do another job ever since.
Yeah. I like that though, because like so many people out there get the opportunity and they blow it, or they think they get you big headed. You know, like you've seen it as like, okay, this is a career path. I like the money. We all like money. I don't care who you are. You like money because money buys you the things you're wearing. Maybe you don't love it, but you like it. But you took advantage of the opportunity. You learned it and you got better at it. You seen that you had to get better at it, right?
Yeah. And year after year, my production, the number of sales I did went up. Year after year, then I started putting together teams. So I would recruit other sales reps. I would train them. I would manage them. We'll go to cities and we'll send like thousands of accounts. So it just got better year after year after
Nice.
year. And I moved up all the way up to being a partner with this big pest control company. But I had just such little ownership, and I was like, I'm doing a lot of the work. I can just go do it myself. So
Yeah.
I left and started my own thing, which
Yeah.
I always knew I was going to do it at some point. It just happened that time came right after they offered me a partnership with them. I looked at it and I was like, oh, this sucks. Like this really so bad. So
But you had an urge inside you already. So it was,
I knew,
Yeah.
5 years before that, I knew I was going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
When I was doing door-to-door sales, I love knocking on doors of millionaires. I would go after the $1 million homes in Texas, in Colorado, in Seattle. And I would just ask them questions, and they were all entrepreneurs. They all had their business. Some odd businesses, some very, expected businesses, but they all had a lot of money and they seemed to enjoy life a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I just wanted something like that. I can't sit still. I have to stay busy. So I don't know if it was overconfidence or really true confidence from having done it, but I just figured I can do it myself.
Hey, so speaking of like the customers, you like the wealthier people. Did you find that like wealthier people are more open to talk about like things that teach you rather than, like people that aren't so wealthy are kind of like, they won't teach you nothing because they feel you're going to steal it all. Or,
Correct.
Right? They're more open.
100%.
Now, did you
100%.
What about like, and I'm just thinking this, I'm picturing this because for our church, we'll go like knock doors too, hand flyers out and stuff. We've done all that stuff. Not like your guys, but the bigger houses, it was like a longer walk. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people didn't like that. They like the short distance walks, the little houses, because it's like pop, 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 pop.
Sweet.
But you said you like the bigger houses.
Of course.
Because it was
bigger. Harder.
It was harder, it was a bigger ticket too.
Selling what I call a cookie cutter home.
Yeah.
It's easier. It is easier. They're one right next to the other. There are people that maybe, and I hope I'm not regretting what I'm saying.
Just say it, bro.
Right? But their business intellect is not as high.
Yeah, it's true.
So if you become a great salesman of cookie cutters, good for you. I wanted to be a good salesman of millionaires.
Yeah.
I wanted to be negotiating with millionaires. I wanted to be pierced by their questions. I wanted somebody that can spot BS from a mile away. Somebody that is sharper than me. Because I knew if I can just go head to head, negotiating, selling, a millionaire is somebody that is far more intelligent, far more business mature, far more rich and wealthy than me. Well, then I'm making some progress in my own life.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
always like the challenge. Imagine this Mexican guy with a broken English accent just coming up to these like $1 million homes
Yeah.
and just trying to offer them pest control. And they will, most of the time right off the bat, they tell you no. And I had to just kind of wrestle my way into like getting a yes. And a lot of people, I didn't get to the yes, but also a lot of them, they said, you know what, I like your persistence. I have these very vivid memories. Like I can just close my eyes and see it, of customers that told me, you know what, I'm going to buy from you just because you're very persistent.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, I like how you look. You look presentable for the job. That makes a big difference. I respect that.
I agree.
Or, you know what, dude, it's pretty hot. Like right now in Phoenix, it's really hot. And people saying, you know what, I respect you hustling in this heat. Like just making no excuses and going out there. I don't care, sign me up. I'll pay whatever you're charging me.
Yeah.
And wealthy people appreciate and recognize that. The average middle, lower class, they don't appreciate that. They just want a good deal.
Yeah. They're just looking for the savings.
Yep.
What am I going to save? What am I going to get? Yeah.
So that's what I love about dealing or negotiating or selling to higher class.
Yeah. So sales, because like I've been looking at sales more and more over the last probably year and a half, especially since I started the podcast, and I'm trying to figure out an entry to get into revenue streams, sales.
Recurring.
Yeah. And because I didn't learn it, right? I mean, I'm more indirect sales type thing.
And it's a very hard skill.
Yeah.
It's a hard skill, and especially, and you would agree with me on this though, and maybe I'm gonna flip the tables and kind of put you on the spot, but the better you start doing in business, the more secure, the more success you're finding, it's harder to pivot and jump to something that is so difficult and scary. Because the reality right now, you don't have a need to do that. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You may want it, but you don't need it. So the second it gets hard, you can always default back to what you're doing already and say, okay, well, that was kind of hard. I don't like to do that. I'll just go back and manage my business the way I used to.
And I have done that before.
Yeah. We all have done that.
Yeah. It's hard to pivot and to step into another arena.
Yep.
Another industry. It's very hard, extremely hard. Right. But I think sales is important. I think sales is crucial. I'm getting my son, getting him into sales. So I've got some people lined up with him he's gonna do some life insurance stuff. But it's I still think even if you don't become super wealthy at sales, I think you need to learn sales techniques to be able to talk like with potential like businesses like yourself. So if you don't know a sales technique, you don't know how to rebuttal something. You can't see what they're doing because you're laying a foundation.
Well, it's and you know what is and I don't know if these are my immigrant eyes or maybe I don't have these high-tech, very progressive goggles in me. But it seems to me as the number of people that are like sales savages, people that are like ready to do whatever it takes, people that have the grit, the ambition, the discipline to go do something that is hard. It seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that number is shrinking. I see less and less people that are willing to go work hard. I see less and less people that are willing to do a job that is hard.
I agree.
It's crazy. My wife gets frustrated with me because everywhere we go, I always have this ongoing joke with her. I tell her, hey, if I was the manager of this place, I'll be killing it.
Yeah.
We go to a restaurant. We go to Barrio Queen to get like some Mexican food. And we get a server and bless their hearts. But I always tell my wife, oh, if I was a server here, I would be making like thousands of dollars of tips every single day.
Yeah, they're lazy. They do the bare minimum.
Yeah. And it's so hard because I don't blame them. Like it seems like all around us, like people are doing bare minimum. People are looking for an easier job, work from home, do this easy thing with all these benefits instead of saying, where is an opportunity where I could do more to then earn more?
Yeah.
That's what I'm always looking for.
I think that's why certain people stand out amongst, but then they get hated on too, right? So you have like, especially with today in today's world with the government giving free money, free this, free that, is people look at, I've had this happen here in our company, right? They'll say, I'm just throwing a scenario out. Say a guy's making like $27 an hour, right? And then the guy next to him is making $30 an hour, right? And I'll hear some couple of bad things about this guy making $27 an hour, and I know he's good. Then I'll be like, "What's going on, man? Like, why aren't you hustling? You should be able to dust this guy." Mm-hmm. And he'll say, "Well, he's making 30 and he doesn't do anything. Why should I do anything?" And that's the attitude that's taking place is Why should I do it if they don't have to? So that's and it's happening more and more.
Which a lot of people feel this is a doomsday scenario. It's so bad what's happening. And I know you do too, I love it. Everybody go ahead and not work hard. I'll work hard for you.
Yeah,
I'll go get the money for you.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm working the hardest I've ever worked.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm still putting in like 16 hours a day.
Yeah. And so it's hard, right? Because you see all of these things happening around you, and it's just almost like it's a disappointment. Like you get team members that are not as committed. Yeah. But also, like right now, our team at Pest, you don't want to mess with us.
Ooh, some killers.
Oh yeah. You do not want to mess with us. It is a bad idea. We're a small team, but we're all just ready to freaking make it happen. Zero excuses. Get it done. Everybody's good at sales. We can all talk to customers. We can it's probably just as good as I've ever been a part of a team. And I'm super proud, and we're super happy with that. And we have this conversation often, how people around us, they seem to not care anymore. They seem to not be too worried about it. And we're worried, and we care.
Yeah.
And we feel that that's our competitive advantage. In the world of pest control, and just in all businesses across the board, as much as you want to differentiate yourself, there's only very subtle differences, right? In pest control, it really, the whole saying of we do quality service, that's not even,
so the only
that's
difference,
not a
the only difference is you.
The proof is in the pudding, right? When the rubber meets the road, that's where people will see the difference. Whatever we can advertise that we're better, that we're faster, blah, blah, blah. This is all just words in the wind. But when the rubber meets the road and people are facing another human, that's where we get to shine.
Yeah.
And we love seeing that, the market, the world around us, it just seems like they're not very good at talking to people. They're not good at negotiating. They're not good at selling. They hate confrontation. They shy away from an angry customer. This morning, I woke up. My very first call of the day was with an angry customer. When I said, I'm like, freak, but I was like, well, I can either like kind of delay that call or just make it right now.
Yeah.
I called the guy right away. Still, is he upset? He is upset. But he was like, you know what? I appreciate you calling me right away to resolve this issue.
Yeah.
Are we perfect? We're not.
Yeah.
Well, let us make it right for you. It's not, we don't work in a life-threatening situation or industry, so we can fix just about everything. The guy was upset. I listened to him. I gave him some assurance. We'll get him taken care of. Period.
Yeah. Now, when you have, since we're on that, when you have like, say a customer that's maybe, you sprayed his plant and it died from, I don't know, that doesn't really happen with insecticide, but whatever. Say you stepped on the plant and killed half of it, right? How do you make things right like that? Like, do you give them a free month service? Do you replace the plant?
What I learned, and this is our sales manager, he's actually my cousin Taylor. I love every time he gets on the phone with someone because he asks them, what would you like the outcome to be?
They give you the answer they need. They want. You don't even have to figure it out.
You want me to come and get on my knees and say sorry? You want me to give you a free month? You want me to give you 2 free months? Would you like me to go and plant another flower? What do you want? Right? A lot of times I think we make the mistake of selling or delivering something that the people is not expecting.
Yeah.
Like I've learned that in sales so much. Like when all people want is to feel heard. That I just want you to acknowledge that you messed something up. 100%. And people are used to, everybody gets defensive, right? You go to, you call to complain about something and they usually bounce you around. Well, it's because the other person you talked to didn't. And then they transfer you there and then, well, our system was, and nobody takes accountability.
Yeah.
So the first thing we've done, our protocol is take accountability. It was our fault.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to make it right for you. Is everybody safe at home? Yes. Okay. Nobody died. Okay, good. What would you like the outcome to be? I just, it's a plant that I love. Okay. Is that a plant available? Can we buy it at a nursery? Yeah. Okay. We'll go get it. Would you want us to go get it and plant it? Or would you want me to write you a check for you to go get it and you plant it? Oh, and then you find that 99% of the time people will tell you, oh, never mind. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. They just want to know you care.
Yeah.
And you're not forcing your own beliefs on them, Correct. Your own, what you think is right. Correct. I like that you said that because I've like, when I feel the most comfortable is when this may sound selfish, is when I'm getting what I want. But
yeah, we all want what we want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you make a mistake, like fix it the way I want it to be fixed. not the way you want it to be fixed, right? And that, like, it's kind of like, okay, say I was just thinking this, someone downstairs, right? The tables are clean. We have a cleaner come twice a week. All right. Everything's usually wiped down.
Whoever you're using, Zebra Cleaning is better.
Well, you can price it out. You can price it out. So a young man finishes eating his food and he wipes the table down, right? I like everything clean. But the problem is he leaves streaks all over the damn thing. And it's like, clean it the way I like it. There was no streaks on it before you sat there. That will make me happy. I'm not yelling. I'm yelling at you now, bro. But you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I want it. I want it streak free, whatever cleaning. I think Fabuloso is pretty good for that.
Well, and that's why I think in the world, that's why knowing sales is so important.
Yeah, because you understand what people want.
Yeah,
you understand what they want, because everything's about what they want. You're going to present them what they want.
That's it.
I love it, man. I love it.
And I have, I don't know, a handful of interactions like that every single day, whether it be with our team members, whether it be with customers, whether it be with my wife, whether it be with my parents. Like, what do you want?
Do you feel, I feel, and I've talked about this a lot of times, I feel everything's a negotiation in life.
Yeah.
I feel like you get up, you're negotiating with yourself when to get up. Don't hit the alarm. Do this. Brush my teeth. Don't brush my teeth. Put my shoes on. Don't put my, like, you're negotiating everything you do in your whole day and with who you're doing it with.
What I've come to terms, or what I've learned, which is a similar concept, I like to think of negotiations as very draining. They're just
okay,
right? They just drain you so much. But in everything I do, I liken it to a coin, and every coin has two sides.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the upside, you also have to take the downside.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When I'm having any type of business conversation, especially when we're getting an employee promotion, when we've gotten some partners, everybody likes the sexy things about life and about business.
Totally.
Everybody wants the title. Everybody wants the millions. Everybody wants the nice office. But all of that has a flip side to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's a negotiation that is already occurred. Anything that has an upside also has a downside. You're a business owner. You have to work 16 hours. You can't negotiate that.
Mm-hmm.
That negotiation is already taking place. Right? It's a action and reaction.
Yeah.
So when you decide to be a successful entrepreneur, you don't have easy days. They're hard, at least at the beginning. Any good successful entrepreneur will tell you 10 years. You know, I've been in business for 4 years. I know I have another 6 to go of like just hardworking, back-breaking work, long hours, long days, no vacations, very little pay, me absorbing every hit that comes to the business. I just personally take that hit. And that's the downside, to be able to enjoy the upside that will come in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So, and I feel like just the same is in life, right? When you get married, the upside is you have this great companion, a support, somebody to love you, a better half that just makes things better. But then there's a downside to it. Like, you don't get to do whatever you want anymore. You don't get to show up home in the middle of the night.
Freedom is gone.
Right?
Freedom is gone.
So there is always that, and it's not a negotiation. You don't have to negotiate that. It just comes with it.
It comes with, some things come with it.
So whenever you get a coin, it will have the upside and the downside.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is people want just the upside of the coin. They don't like to look at the downside.
Yeah.
And at some point, that coin flips. And when they realize there was a downside, they just panic, and then they just want it. They don't want it anymore.
Is that called cause and effect?
Correct.
Cause and effect. But like, I remember we were having some challenges with one of our kids, and my wife was talking to, I forgot, a counselor, another lady, I forgot. But the person I told my wife, like, you know, you could do this and you can win, but just know if you win, that means your kid loses. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of all tied in. Is like you said, there's always a flip side. There's a cause, there's an effect, there's a winner, there's a loser, there's heads, there's tails. And you need to know, I think ahead of time, we need to know and really like analyze what we're doing. I think you have to look at and try, you don't always know, but I think you want to try to look at the opposite side.
So that's
because is it worth it?
In any opportunity, you have to look at, that's what you have to be very curious about. What's the downside of this?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. So we did most of the cleaning work we did at Zebra was residential, 90% of it. And all of a sudden I got passionate. I don't know if passionate is the word, but I got excited about multifamily.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, bro, there's apartments everywhere. Freaking,
They're building them
I can
everywhere.
be billionaire doing this, blah. Anyway, so I go and start bidding multifamily units. I was looking only at the upside of that. I'm like, so many apartments. They need so much cleaning. We're so good at it. I'm going to be rich. Multifamily comes with probably a greater downside than upside that I always neglected. I didn't look at the downside. And I learned that we had a horrible experience doing multifamily. Horrible. Tens of thousands of dollars lost.
Was it like construction cleaning or after they're finished?
Both. We did. So we were offering post-construction. We were offering the janitorial work of cleaning their common areas. And then their, we call them make ready.
Yeah.
So every time the tenants change. Horrible. It was so bad.
Cheap, fast.
Oh, everything. I mean, everything you can think of was so bad. Just thinking about it, I want to throw up. It was so bad. Disgusting units.
Yeah, you're turning them over. Yeah.
Yeah, because I said, well, these, you know how they use property management companies. So this property management, they have 11 properties. Heck yeah, sign me up for all of them. Yeah, I toured the nice one in Tempe. I didn't go tour the crappy one in the middle of Mesa.
Yeah.
And they were paying me the same amount. So I was showing up to these murder scenes that we had to clean up for $150. Where my employees were like, dude, I'm not stepping in that unit. Like, no, you don't pay me enough to clean that freaking mess.
It
was so bad. But not only that, they pay you whenever the heck they want.
Hold on, did you really go to a murder scene?
No, but it looks like it.
Yeah.
We have pictures of like, how do people
what
live
happened
like this?
here, huh? Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they pay you whenever they want. They are multifamily. For the most part, they're bullies with little.
Of course.
They are bullies.
Yeah.
And I hate working with them. They don't care. They don't pay you. You have to get very nasty and ugly to get paid. They pay you when they want, under their terms. If they pay late, they don't pay late fees. They just do whatever they want. Horrible. We don't do business with multifamily anymore.
Yeah.
They're just and I always trace it back. And I realized I did not look at the downside. So now every opportunity I get, I say, okay, well, this shiny object looks good. It's got to have a flip side. What's the flip side of it? And fully understanding it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, who are you dealing with?
So now, like, a big shout out to one of our clients. We clean a chain of restaurants, the Chop Shop. I don't know if you've been to the Chop Shop. Great restaurant, all organic, just great food, right?
No, I haven't, but I will.
And I got, go check him out. But we love the Chop Shop.
I'm going to use your name for a free meal.
Hey, I think they do. No.
They're like,
hey, bro, don't be. No, but they're great clients of ours. And when I showed up, I'm like, that's awesome. They have 9 locations. They're growing. I know they're just, so it's like we got one cell that had like 9 locations. It's a little bit more upper scale fast food. It's like all organic. So a lot of our clientele dines there. So my hope is that when I started is that they will see us there and then people will just start calling Panda. The downside to it, when I started looking at it, is they're busy. They serve breakfast to dinner. They're busy all day. I can't spray pesticide when they're working.
Yeah.
So the downside of that account is I have to be in the middle of the night.
Off hours.
So a couple times a month, we have to be you'll find our trucks cruising around town.
2 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah. Now, the nice thing is now I understand, okay, well, this great account came with this like difficult thing. Okay, well, I come to terms with it. Is it worth it? Yes. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's something I've learned, to just look at both sides of the coin. The shiny object usually has a dark side to it. So, and you have to understand it. You can't get around it. You just have to understand it and come to terms with it.
You know what other industries like that? When pressure washing.
Yeah.
Like cleaning.
Yeah, you can be
carports or like parking lots. You're at night, off hours all the time, no matter what.
So we learned, that's one of the reasons why for cleaning, I don't like, we didn't pursue commercial, because the lifestyle of commercial cleaning is after hours.
It's all, everybody, we got rid of one cleaner one time and I brought in like 20 different people or whatever to interview. And some of them were like, oh, can we come at like 9 a.m? I'm like, no, we're here working.
Yep.
You need to come after work, before work, Saturday, Sunday, night. I don't care when you come, but we got to be gone.
Yeah. So, and that's a challenge. So then we looked at it and we decided we wanted to, that's not a route we wanted to pursue.
Yeah, totally.
And one of the rules I have in business is whatever we do in our business is something that I have to be willing to go do.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't willing to be doing Saturday nights, Sunday nights, I can't have my team do it.
I'm the same way.
If I don't do it, then nobody has to do it.
Yeah.
So we always grab every project like that is a little bit more, particular. And first of all, we analyze the downside to it. And then the question I always, before I give it the stamp of approval, is it something I'll be willing to do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's helped us make some pretty good decisions with what accounts we're going after.
Yeah. I like that you say that. Like, are you willing to do it? Because so many owners out there are willing to put their team through hell, but not go through it with them.
Correct.
It happens a lot, right? So like we're talking about this. What keeps that drive inside you going? Because I'm watching you, I'm listening to you. You know, you've had some down times, you've had some up times, but I feel like you're starting this next season. Like for people who are listening, like what's driving you today?
There's a bunch of different factors. I think the deepest one I have, that's a very intimate driver for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't showcase it. I don't talk about it very often. Is I have doubted myself so many times, and I just want to prove myself that I can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've failed to a lot of people. I've disappointed a lot of people, but the one that I'm still struggling to recover from is disappointing myself, and falling short to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple thoughts and wild ideas that have crossed my mind that I believe I can do it. And do I need to do it? No, like, to be honest, like, we're not rich, but look, we live pretty good. Like, me and my family, we live just, I think, I dare to say above average. So we live pretty good. Do I need to do it? No, I don't. Would it be nice to do it? Yeah, it's nice to do it. And I think right now, the next step for me is just prove to myself that I can do it. I don't have anybody to prove it to. I just want to do it. I grew up in a house that had no AC, had no heater. Growing up, we never had a car that had automatic windows. You had to right? So there's these things that, many people will say, I'm not supposed to have nice things, or I was not destined to have it. And I just want to have it to prove that I can.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids. How old are they?
6, 4, and 1.
Oh, yeah. Young.
We're in the thick of it. I didn't sleep last night.
How old are you? Like 33, 34?
35.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I knew you were somewhere in the 30s.
35. So if you think about it, if you grab the average person, we are very lucky and very blessed that we have some material things that not everybody gets to enjoy.
Yeah.
And we're blessed and lucky and grateful for that. But also we have in recent years we get to enjoy a lot of great things as a family and seeing our kids grow up. And my wife is a very simple woman. She does not need anything fancy. She likes animals, so she just wanted a farm with goats and chickens, and she wants to have cows and horses, and that makes her happy. So to me, do we need to do big things? No. Do I want to? Yes, I definitely want to do it.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be fun to say, look, when you look at my background, when you look at my history, the odds were not necessarily on my favor, but the opportunity was always there. And I want to prove that I've taken the opportunities that come my way.
And you have. I don't know if the Book of Mormon has Jeremiah in it, but in the Bible, there's a scripture in Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you, plans to give you a hope and a future." God already has it planned, and He's given you a burden of high responsibility, and He relies on you to be a steward over it. It's so cool, man. It's so cool. I think you're killing it, dude.
I'm trying. And you know what? This is what's crazy with Panda. So our cleaning business, I just sold it in January. My right-hand guy, my manager for 3 years, he bought it from me.
Nice.
So it's a great friend of me,
yeah, it's
of
in-house.
mine.
I like it.
Oh, I love it. And it was a very smooth transition. The guy got married about a year ago, so he's building a great thing for his family. I love that I can still kind of get to be a part of the business I built. We talk on a weekly basis every now and then. I lend my help, but it's in great hands. But I learned so many things building that cleaning business that now it's just working with our pest control company just so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time every day.
Yeah.
It's awesome. We have a great team. We have a great business, great clients. We're doing good work. We're just having fun. It's been fun. So
at home, you have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching them grow up. Or the oldest one you said is 6?
6 is my oldest.
And so she a boy or girl?
Boy.
So he's in what, first grade?
He is
kindergarten or first grade, somewhere in
I
that
think he's
world.
kindergarten.
Yeah,
I think.
depending on the age.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Or first grade. I don't even know. I'm like so
Yeah,
disconnected
you're
from
working.
that stuff.
You work a lot. Yeah.
My wife has that stuff on lockdown.
Yeah. No, I'm. The
I
same
know
way.
he goes to school. I don't know.
Yeah. So he's in school. What do you think about, like, because they're young? My kids are a little old. My youngest is 15, and what do you think about where we're at in the state of the world? What, like, because I'm sure this goes to your mind. Like, I need to make sure my kids are raised properly. They're growing in the right environment. They're going to the right schools.
So much opportunity.
Yeah.
There are things that make it, and you go through this, like, make it so scary. Like, I look at kids in schools. I look at the public school system.
Mm-hmm.
I look at social media. I look at kids' health and the garbage food they eat.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things make me, I'm terrified for them. But then on the flip side, I think there's just so much opportunity. There's just so much good that they'll be able to do.
Yeah.
I think there will be, people of good in the world. I think they will be able to help people. They'll be able to help themselves. And I think my wife is raising just these amazing children. My wife is just so good at it. And I know my kids are going to be just children of good.
Yeah.
And 99.9% of that credit goes to my wife. The other little bit is just me going to work and making sure they have food on the table. But my wife has done a great job. So I'm very hopeful. I look at my kids and they're just so sweet. They're smart. And I think through the example of my wife, and I dare to say mine, I think they will have a lot of tools to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they choose to do.
Yeah.
I'm deep inside, I want them to be entrepreneurs, to take on the world. But I think if they decide to be whatever they want to be, I think they'll be good at it. I think they'll be really, really good.
Yeah, I think home upbringing is crucial, especially in today's world, because today's world is kind of screwed up. All kinds of weird stuff happening. Yeah. So, like, at home, teaching your kids the right and wrong thing, giving them religion, I believe, is important. You're still practicing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like, I think that's important, whatever religion it is.
Yeah.
You're giving your kid, like, a foundation to grow on, to stand on, to lean on. When that hard time comes, they go back to those scriptures, to those teachings, to whatever that is, And
we're doing everything we can. We 7 months ago, we moved into a home. We have a lot of property now.
Yeah, you just told me you had a ranch, bro.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I'm like, holy geez. I'm trying to picture. I'm like, is he in Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler? Is he out west?
I'm in Queen Creek.
Okay.
So right at the base of the Santans.
Yep.
So we have a nice property. We're just out there in the boonies. So my kids are out there catching lizards and hunting for bugs and throwing rocks at bunnies and milking goats and picking up the...
So you have all the animals now?
Well, not all of them, but yeah, we're on our way. I almost bought some pigs over the weekend, but so we're trying to have a little place where they can be just once again connected to the earth, be a little bit on like.
Are you gonna get a keeper, like someone to help you with all that, or are you gonna do it yourself?
That's us.
Okay.
Yeah. No. That's the children.
You're getting rich. I just wonder. I'm just asking.
Oh no, I don't know that I'm getting rich, but and I've always kind of shy away from. I made a living in the last 10 years in the sun, so I hate being outside. I hate yard work.
That's what I was asking you. Like,
yeah, but it's been very rewarding to be out there and
teach the kids.
Yeah, teach the kids, and it's been teaching me a lot. I don't know. A few months ago, I posted on LinkedIn, this corny post about some of the things that I've learned in my new house, and we have chickens, and we bought a ton of new chickens. I bought like 30 more chickens. We had 8, and then we bought like 30 more. And when you buy little baby chicks, they take a while before they start laying eggs. And it doesn't matter how much food you feed them, how much you go and beg them, how much you instruct them, you have to wait until they lay eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they're mature, it doesn't matter how much you cheer for them, how much strategy you give them, how much you ask them, they only lay 1 egg a day.
Yeah.
And you have to wait. I get an egg today and I will have to wait until tomorrow. There is no way to accelerate that. And I learned that in business, that I want to be a millionaire. We have these in the pest control industry. We have these big competitors in the valley. I look up to them. I want to be like them, but they got like 10, 15, 20 years on me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be like them in 2 years.
You're on your way though.
Yeah. But just like the chickens, like it comes one at a time. Like I have to put in the time.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've learned, that Mother Nature is just so perfect. Our goats, they produce milk. They produce a quarter gallon of goat per time you go milk them. You can squeeze as much as you can, and that's all you're gonna get. You have to wait until the next day. They gotta go eat.
So are you guys drinking goat milk at home? You have a lot of eggs. Are you selling the eggs? Giving them away? What do you do?
We have a lot of eggs. We eat eggs almost on the daily. If one day we don't eat eggs, then they start piling up.
Yeah.
So if you come visit us, we usually kind of like the old days. We send you home with a dozen eggs.
A dozen eggs.
Yeah, and a little.
That's cool. All different colors. Different colors. Green, brown. Yeah, blue.
You name it.
Yeah. I had chickens. We had chicks when I was little.
Yeah, it's and this is all. My wife has been around animals a lot more than me.
So she loves it.
Yeah. Oh, she's in heaven. And I've been slowly getting more used to it. Like we have chickens, we have goats.
Well, because you're looking at like it's a little bit extra work I have to do.
Yeah, and they cost a lot of money though.
Of course, you got to feed them.
Money and
when you bought the chicks, did you have to get incubators and feed them with syringes, or you just throw them out? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a ton of.
Yeah.
And then we're learning to be farmers. We lost a bunch of chickens. This summer has been hot. A bunch of them died. The other day, a coyote was in the property, snatched like 3 or 4. So it's just we're learning it, and running a farm, running a live animals is like running a business, like running a family, like trying to stay on top of your health.
And you want to keep it clean and to keep that, give them right food, like you said, give them right nutrients.
And then we plan a trip, and we have to find somebody to come feed the chickens and milk the goats. There's a lot to it, but it's fun, and it just, what I like about having animals is it pumps the brakes in life. Like, dude, slow down. Mm-hmm. We're always trying to go 100 miles an hour. We want things to go fast. We want things to happen now. And animals really teach you that you gotta slow down. Like, you just gotta give it time. There's a process, and you can't hack your way into a higher production of eggs.
Yeah, no, it's true. When like myself, when I start to ramp up too fast, I make mistakes.
Yeah,
something's wrong. I think I'm doing it right, but I didn't count the cost somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's casualties over here.
100%.
You know what I mean?
So it's been fun. Like I said, we are right now the project we have about we have a lot more land than we need. We have 4 acres.
Nice.
So we're gonna plant a big orchard of fruit trees in the back. So now things that I didn't know, like the ground is not very fertile. So we have to put nutrients and so now we're doing all the prep work. So
are you gonna turn the whole dirt like about a foot down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna do that. We just order a bunch of like wood chips to start nurturing the soil. We need to change the irrigation system. So it's a good time. So like I said, right now we're having a really good time.
Bro, you're building your paradise.
Yeah, we like it. It's good.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
It's been great.
This is a great talk. Where can we find you? Where can we find you? Where can we find Panda?
You can just find me. The best way to find me is on LinkedIn, or just call us, message us at the office at Panda Pest. I like sharing my story, especially our mistakes, which we made a lot. So anybody that is looking to start a business, to, dive into sales, any entrepreneurs out there, anybody wanting to jump into entrepreneurship, any immigrants, I tell people if I did it, like just anybody can do it.
That's right. That's what this whole podcast was created when I created it. Yeah. It was to show if I can do it, anyone can.
Anybody can do it.
That's why I like having guys like yourself. Like, you're killing it. Yeah, maybe you're not where, and I'm not where we would like to be, but we're way further than where we were. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just, I think we're living proof that it is possible. And I love, even though I'm an immigrant, I'm a lover of this country. I love the opportunities that are in this country. I love how much it has to offer.
I wish more people love the country.
Me too. But I also don't mind if they don't like it. I'll love it more for them.
Yeah, they can leave.
Like, that's all opportunity for me. When I see people hating on this place, I'm like, go right ahead, and I'll love it double, triple.
Yeah.
I love this land. He's giving me a wife. He's giving me a work. He's giving me my way of living is here in the U.S. now.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I love my roots, and I love my family and my country. But I'm always very, very grateful for everything that I've been able to live and accomplish and enjoy, thanks to the opportunities of this country. So.
And for Panda, are you guys all over the valley? Are you in a certain area?
We're in the whole valley. So if you live anywhere between Buckeye and Gold Canyon, from Cape Creek and Maricopa, we can service your home.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it no more.
Well, let me know. Then we'll send
I have every
killer
chemical,
bug guy.
I have every chemical there is. I have another building and neighbors are pest control. They sell the chemicals.
Really?
I have all the chemicals, but I'm like, I forget. Then it's 3 months later.
It's
I
so
see when I start seeing critters, I'm like, shoot. You know what I mean?
I tell people, do-it-yourselfers. Anybody that makes decent money and is still doing it yourself, it reminds me of when I had my first car. I used to wash it every weekend. I would go there with a bucket and wash it really good. Right?
Yeah.
That was my first car. I was like 18. I was just trying to care for it. Right now, I cannot remember when was the last time I washed a car. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time.
Yep.
There's faster, easier ways to do it that is so accessible. Pest control, cleaning, landscaping, it's all like
pool
that.
cleaning.
You don't do that anymore. It takes more of your time. Like what that tells me is that people don't value their time.
Yeah. No, that's the
That you
last
can
thing.
create greater things with the 30 minutes you spend doing that pest control service on your own. You sub it out and go spend some quality time with your 15-year-old boy and make sure he changes the world when he's your age.
Well, she's actually a girl. My son, the oldest, is 22. But no, you're right. You're totally right. Our time is more valuable.
Are you kidding me? To take your daughter on a date?
Yeah.
So when she's like 21, 22, and a freaking schmuck, it's not coming around with a Camaro trying to impress her. Like, no, bro, get out of here. Dude.
Yeah,
My dad taught me way better than that.
Yeah, you're a bum.
So
Let me check your credit score. Right.
well, anything.
So there it is, guys. I appreciate it, Ismael. This is really good, and I wish nothing but the best for you. Everyone go follow him, follow us, like and subscribe to everything we're doing, and be blessed.